Hello folks, Dixie Dude back here, and welcome back to another Railfan video. Happy Memorial Day to every single one of y'all. Today I am Railfan in Lakeland, Florida to celebrate. Now anyways, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Anyways, the first train we will catch is Amtrak number 41, the southbound Floridian train from Chicago to Miami. Locomotives number 192 and 336 were leading with the flipped consist behind them. Just like that, from the north angle, he is just now getting ready to pull into his Lakeland stop onto the bridge. Just after he passed onto the bridge, I headed to downtown Lakeland to see more trains. But then I recently discovered that Amtrak 41 was still stopped at Lakeland. But just while he was stopped there, he started to move up, and then he eventually came to a stop, and then he started rolling again. So because of that, I decided to eventually make my point where I can film this train. I was lucky enough that I actually managed to chase him with no trouble whatsoever. And as it turns out, this train was actually just now there, like literally 5 or 6 minutes, I believe, but I'm not too awfully sure about that. Now, just after that too from Amtrak 192, this train 41 is now heading to Tampa. And also on a note was that this train also had a friendly crew member who was nice enough to actually do a toot, even though this is a no train horn zone. The next train I would catch is CS6 M453, the southbound manifest train from Waycross to Miami. Locomotives number 85 and 7094 were leading. Along with this footage I've caught of him, for some reason during the middle of the train, the gauge started to go up while the train was moving past the crossing. For some reason, that kind of happened, which in reality should never happen for safety reasons. just after M453 headed south towards his destination. Even though he's actually a southbound train, he's going east to his destination, but he's going to be turning south at Auburndale. Anyways, the next train is Amtrak number 40, the northbound Floridian train from Miami to Chicago, with locomotives number 179 and 305 leading. And just like with the 41, I also caught the 40 at two different locations before both trains actually returned from Tampa to Lakeland and then headed to their final destinations. And also, on the note, this train also had a friendly crew as well. And just after the 40 started leaving Lakeland for Tampa, 41 would come back from Tampa and then come into the Lakeland station. just after the flip consist train has just passed this crossing, I headed to Bonnet Springs to make a little trip to see the little G-scale steamer. And just after I was nearly done with this part, CSX M603 snuck up on me. This is a southbound manifest train that had locomotives number 787 and 3226 with the chassis. But this train originates at Waycross and terminates into Winston.
Is it broken now? Oh, what's going on? I need it to get wet so I don't burn down. So it hurt.
And now it's back to the rail fitting. The next train we would get has a green signal, as you saw right there. This would probably be L765, considering the fact that he was still taking the A line and heading east somewhere. My guess would be that this was L765 due to the fact that he has so many hoppers and maybe some gondolas. And plus, this I believe would be about the time during the daytime that he would pass through. But anyways, this train had locomotives number 7416 and 5439 leading. Since this is L765, which I would have to believe, I would have to also believe that this train would originate in Winston and terminate into Taft, Florida. However, this is actually a turn job, just like some local trains, like L764, for instance, where he would go to Taft and then probably head back to Winston. And just after he cleared part of the A line, Amtrak number 40 was just now heading back from Tampa to Lakeland, and then heading north towards its final destination to Chicago. And just as he was coasting along on the A line, he started slowing down since the yellow signal was set for him, which means that he had to stop at the next signal. This would turn out to be clear for him as soon as L765 was starting to move farther away from the part that Amtrak number 40 is now about to take on. And as it turns out, he was starting to stop, but then he would later move slowly and then eventually pick up speed heading to the Lakeland station as he got clearance. The next train that we would get would be a northbound manifest train, CSX M604, which is heading from Winston to Waycross. This train had so many locomotives, including some Canadian ones. But the first up locomotives were CSX 970 and 7024 were leading, along with CP or Canadian Pacific number 8753 and Canadian National locomotives number 3886, the 100th anniversary, and the 3841 with this sticker on it, along with CS6 EMD locomotive number 4752. This will be my final train of the entire video. Now anyways, if y'all enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, turn on notifications so you don't miss an upload, subscribe for more content, and tell me about the thoughts of the video in the comment sections below. Well, folks, that concludes my rail fitting adventures on Memorial Day in Lakeland, Florida. Now, thank you all guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.